good morning. We are doing a very different fitness training review today. Well, not that different, but very slightly different. So over the last few months, I've obviously been doing these fitness training reviews that have been probably my most popular videos, certainly my most popular ones for me to film and edit and do all those things as well. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to look back at the ones I've already done, because obviously I don't want to normally do the same ones. But then it dawned on me, maybe I should. Maybe I should do one that I have done before and not watch the video and go back and re-review it, and then later on see if my scores have changed over the few months. So the one I've chosen today is Ferragamo Uomo. Now I did this one, I think it was about the third fitness training review I did, and looking at the thumbnail, it was obviously a rainy day and I think I did some exercise on the home treadmill. Now today, shock, it is apparently meant to be mainly dry. So I want to do this review again without watching that video. Later on we're going to come home and see what scores I gave for this, but I just want to basically just do it again today. So I'm going to do my morning workout as usual. So if you haven't seen these before, essentially I'll go for a run, walk to the gym, do a gym workout, walk back, all while reviewing this fragrance this morning. We look at 5 categories. So it's price/value for money, it's versatility, it's projections, how much I noticed during my run. I'll do a room spray test, see how much the fragrance fills up a room. Compliment factor, do I think it's a compliment getting fragrance? And also its longevity, where I'll spray my arms before the gym, few hours time after I've had my shower, I'll smell my arm again to see if I can still notice the fragrance. But before we do that, we're going to look at the note breakdown for this fragrance, Salvatore Ferragamo Uomo. So what can we detect in Ferragamo Uomo? Well, let's have a little look at the note breakdown. So the top notes: cardamom, warm spicy lift, black pepper, sharp zesty kick, and bergamot bright freshness. Now this pretty much, in terms of the genre, before I go into more detail, is very, very much that sort of modern type fragrance, that sweet caramel type fragrance. And in terms of that opening, you're definitely getting that spice, because it has got, yeah, for me, there's this black pepper. The black pepper, particularly in the opening, is what I get, because caramel, vanilla, all those sort of things in fragrances, tonka bean, are in men's and women's fragrances, but you can tell this has got a masculine edge, and it's definitely that spiciness, whether it is the cardamom or the black pepper. I think that's the real thing, but it's not super heavy. They're not heavy notes particularly. Cardamom can be in the base, but it tends to be quite subtle, I tend to find, as a fragrance note. But there is also this freshness. Now it does say about the bergamot, I actually think later on it's more the orange blossom, which we'll see in the heart in a minute, but it isn't really, really heavy, really strong vanilla, really sticky, like a Lush Sticky Dates. This one is a bit softer, and I wonder if that bergamot's almost just taming those real sweet notes that we'll obviously talk about more in the base. But let's go into the heart. So the middle, tiramisu accord, sweet creamy dessert vibe. This is a gourmand. It's like this coffee sort of dessert to me. It's really, really pleasant, and tiramisu is the real highlight of this fragrance. That tiramisu accord is what's given this popularity over the years. Orange blossoms, a soft floral sweetness. Again, that's where I think this has tamed the fragrance down a little bit, from it being this really sweet, sickly gourmand dessert sort of caramel smell to just being a little bit lighter, a bit fresher. But it might be the bergamot and the orange blossom working in combination. And then ambroxan, smooth, modern warmth. It's in a lot of fragrances. It's always in fragrances, that note. So yeah, it just helps longevity rather than anything else. Probably just blends the fragrance together a little bit nicer. Then in the base, you've got your tonka bean, sweet nutty depth. Tonka bean's in a lot of fragrances. It's not one that I particularly detect, because it kind of works in combination with things like vanilla, things like chocolate, those gourmandy sort of notes. That's where tonka bean just works in harmony with them. So it's very hard to pick it out individually. Sandalwood, creamy woodiness, and then cashmere wood, cozy, musky softness. So again, that slight clean vibe that I just think takes the edge off it being super, super sweet, which it is. So what are the main things you're really getting here? It's that tiramisu accord. It's that coffee sort of vibe with a bit of spice. So if you like sort of, I don't want to say it's spicy like a warm spicy, but just that little hint of pepper in the background, just supplementing the tiramisu, the sweet caramel vibe, then that's what you get, that slight freshness in the background. But yeah, definitely a winter gourmand more than anything else. But what we're going to do then, we're going to head out for a run. I'm going to do the first 2 categories. It's going to be price/value for money for this, and its versatility. I'm feeling a bit more motivated because I'm not going to get wet today, hopefully. Let's get out there. Okay, so price/value for money for Ferragamo Uomo. Well, you would have just seen a couple of prices there. So you can get this bottle in different sizes, but in general, looking at the 100ml, it seems to be trending in the wrong direction. I mean, it used to be, and when I bought it, it used to be about, I want to say about £35 tops I paid for this one. But it's now about high 40s to sort of £60 when you look online. And when we look at the notes of this fragrance, you know, things like tonka bean, black pepper, cardamom, they're all notes that are very popular in a lot of fragrances. And what this has led to, particularly that tiramisu accord, is that kind of vanilla, caramel, coffee, sweet fragrance that many people are looking for things like date nights. You know, it is very much that typical smell that you might get with a Nazaro Most Wanted by Night. Just that sort of caramel, sweet vanilla, gourmand scent. And for sort of, okay, look, it's a designer brand, but it's not one for me that does anything particularly unique. It is really nice. It's such an easy fragrance to pull off, I think, and it's great. It's going to get you a lot of compliment. We'll talk about compliment getter later on, but it's going to get you a lot of compliments. That's what this fragrance is for. Night out, compliment getting, date night type fragrance. For sort of your younger person, I would say. But I've smelt this with Zara fragrances as well. And I think they can sell these for sort of £15-20 Zara, maybe £30 tops. And this one seems to be getting further away from that. So while I think the smell is very nice, it's not particularly natural. It's not synthetic harsh or anything, it's really pleasant. But it just is now starting to get to that point where I think it's getting quite steep for price in terms of what it is. So, you know, I think when I did my review last time, it was certainly a little bit cheaper than this. So for that reason, I'm going to say 7 out of 10. I just think it's got a little bit steep. It's nothing complex, it's nothing you haven't smelled before, albeit really pleasant, really nice, and certainly one that I'd never worry about wearing around people. If anything, I'd wear it around people for that reason, is that it is really mass pleasing, and that's why a lot of fragrances are copying this type of scent. But it's lost a little bit for me because of that when cheaper fragrances are around smelling the same. So it'd be interesting what I gave it on my initial score, but I'm going to say 7 out of 10 for this one today. On to versatility. It is finally morning, you can actually see me now. So versatility, how much can you dress tonight, dress this one down? Different ages, different occasions, different seasons. Well, this is clearly a men's fragrance, you know, it's marketed for men, it's a men's fragrance, so we're not going to mark it down for not being unisex or anything like that. And when you look at the notes, the black pepper, the cardamom, they definitely give it that slightly more masculine edge. But if I'm being quite stereotypical here, I think this is a 20 to 35 year old type fragrance. It doesn't have things like leather and oud, anything smoky that you might expect as an older gentleman. It's very much that more modern type fragrance, and I just see someone in that 20 to 35 year old bracket going on a night out with friends, maybe a date night, where they want to be a little bit seductive, but also you could wear this at home. It's very cozy, as I said. It's a really cozy fragrance that I'm obviously wearing it this morning for running. I'll be wearing it at the gym later as well. It doesn't feel quite right for that. It really doesn't feel right for that at all. You know, I know it's got bergamot in and some fresh components, but it's heavy, it's sticky, it's still, you know, even though it's toned down compared to some fragrances in this genre, it's still enough where you go, oh, it's a little bit too much for those occasions. But it's fine, it's doing the job. It's quite cool today, and in a climate controlled office environment in the spring and a cool day, you know, you could still pull it off casually, absolutely fine. Now, what I'm also going to say with this one, for me, when I get to the end of 100ml bottles, as much as I like these smells, I get a bit sick of them. And in terms of versatility, I still think I'd want a freshie. This doesn't have any real freshness about it, and I just think by the end of this, I would probably go, do you know what, I've had enough of this smell now. I need something else to complement it, just another fragrance, because it certainly doesn't do hot summer days and, you know, running warmer climates, casual wear in general. And I don't think I'd want to wear this to an interview because it'd just be too heavy. So I think you still want another fragrance which marks it down a little bit on versatility for me. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 overall. I just think, you know, you're not really going to want to wear this in the spring, summer, sporty occasions. And I think an older gentleman's going to find this a little bit too youthful, a bit juvenile for those occasions. But other than that, for what it's meant to be, you know, date night, night out with friends, clubbing fragrance, it ticks all the boxes, so 7 out of 10. Right, let's head back. Not long to go now. We'll talk about projection. Okay, so workout done about 13 miles. It's time to spray my room before we talk about projection downstairs. So I'm going to spray my room 10 times. And essentially, once I've spoken about projection on my run, we'll come upstairs, we'll see how much the fragrance has filled the room. So if someone came in, if a colleague came in the office, or someone came into your room at home, would they notice the fragrance? And then we can give a score on projection. The other thing I need to do is about 10 past 9, I'm going to spray both arms 5 times. Then in 3 hours' time, when I leave the gym, we'll smell my arm again. So I won't apply the fragrance again before then. And we'll just see if it survives the workout, the walk to the gym, and obviously a shower before we give a score on longevity. So yeah, let's head downstairs. Time for a cup of tea. Matcha green tea today. So how much did I notice Ferragamo Uomo during my run? Well, it wasn't quite how I expected. I didn't really notice it at the start, and I thought it's not going to particularly last today because it's not really heavy. We'll talk about this a little bit later on, but it's not a really heavy fragrance. However, the second half of the run, I noticed it a lot. I noticed it about 3 or 4 times. Okay, not massively amount, I know, but it just crept up on me on occasions where I certainly wasn't looking for it, wasn't even really thinking about it at the time. And I just wonder if that's where I changed direction with the wind. But it's certainly still there. It's still on my top. I can still smell it around my neck as well. So yeah, it did a little bit better than I expected. Had a little bit more staying power. Probably when I did it before, it was the summertime, and I don't remember thinking it did that well on this score, so it'd be interesting to see what the score is later. But I'm going to finish my tea, we'll go upstairs, and then we'll give my overall score on projection. Okay, in we go. So what can I smell? Well, I have got my window open a little bit as well, and I can still smell it, and it's about 40-50%. Okay, it's only been 10 minutes, I know, but people are going to come in and notice that. And because it is such a mass appealing type scent, and obviously compliment that's what we're going on to next, people are going to say good things, and it is very, very pleasant. Yeah, I like that a lot. And even if it's not quite as strong as some of these that will fit, be in a similar scent profile, because it is so nice, it's so mass appealing, even if it's that bit weaker, people are going to want to explore what that is. And in some ways, that means that, 40% projection can actually still get more comments than say 60% projecting fragrance if that's a bit more divisive. So I'm actually going to give it an 8.5 here. It's not really super strong. I don't think it's going to last all day and fill a room all day, but maybe that's a good thing, particularly if someone's got the heating or those sort of those offices that are just stuffy with so many people in them. So yes, done really well on this. 8.5 is a pretty decent score. What we're going to do now though is we're going to head to the gym and we're going to talk about compliment factor. Do I think this is compliment getting fragrance? Have I had any compliments on this one? Okay then, so compliment factor. Do I think this is a compliment getting fragrance, and do I have any experience of compliments with this one? To be honest, no, I don't. The only sort of experience I have is I was doing well, you will see it obviously in a few days, or you probably have already seen it by now. Actually, I've probably uploaded it before. I did a spray off competition at home. My brother said, "Did you spray something really caramelly earlier?" And of course, I said, "Well, I've sprayed literally all my sprays." And he was like, "Yeah, but there was a caramel one I could particularly smell." And I'm pretty certain I said, "Oh, is it this one?" So I sprayed it. It was Ferragamo Uomo. He said, "Yeah, it was that one. Yeah, it's nice." However, I would say with this one, I've never really worn it for compliments because it doesn't really project that much. I'm really quite surprised, and I think it's maybe those freshness, those floral elements that have just toned it down. It's probably about right, as I said. Sometimes they can almost be too much, and Sticky Dates is one where I absolutely love it, but it can be quite aggressive, and it might just be too much if you put a lot on. So with this one, I think you can go a little bit heavier on sprays. I sprayed 10 times this morning, and it never felt too much today, during my run. But I also think where this could get marked down is it's such a recognisable type of scent profile. This is one of those scents that I don't think anyone can say they haven't smelled before. Loads of people would have smelled this. And in some ways, maybe that means you don't really stand out. People will obviously recognise it and go, "It smells nice." I don't think I'll ever feel uncomfortable wearing this. But compliments, I think, sometimes have to be something a little bit different, almost to kind of, wow you that little bit more, because it takes a lot for someone to say you smell nice, and it's normally got to be something a little bit more unique. And this doesn't have that unique element. It has the mass appeal, which is exactly what you want in compliment getting scents. And in that sense, it will get good comments. Yeah, maybe those extra comments, or maybe those top compliments you want, maybe you may not get with this, just because it's quite a recognisable scent profile. So I'm going to give it another 8.5. That wind is so strong. I'm going to give it another 8.5 out of 10. It's a massive pleasing fragrance. It's exactly built for compliments. But for that reason, loads of people have copied this profile over the years. And that can mean it does get a little bit forgotten, a little bit hidden in the pack. But wear it for compliments. That's what it's built for. Of course, if I get any at the gym today, we'll bump up to a 10. It's a workout done, no compliments, and to be honest, I couldn't really smell the fragrance while exercising, but actually on my arm it is still there, pretty much like it was a couple of hours ago. But yeah, it's not super strong. As I was saying earlier, it's not super strong in that sense, and that made it a little bit better for the gym if anything. So it'd be interesting to see where it gets for longevity here. So we're going to have a shower now, and yeah, we'll then do our scores after. Familiar sight. It's time to smell my arm and see what we can detect. It's literally gone about 12:05. So yes, I can definitely still smell Ferragamo Uomo, and that's a good few hours since I applied the fragrance, so it's pretty good. Can't complain about that, can I? That isn't bad at all. And it's quite... No, it's still that tiramisu, to be honest. It's still quite spicy though, and yeah, that freshness has definitely worn off now. It's done better than I thought. I feel like it's probably done better than when I reviewed it last time. I can't wait when I get back to see these results. But what I would say is it's about 65% as strong, probably 60 to 65%. It's not really heavy, but again, I've had a really warm shower there. I've done quite a hard workout today, and it's not actually cold really at the moment, so I was expecting it to wear off a little bit more than it has. And it's still very much that tiramisu, as I was saying, that's really kicking through those more sweeter notes that you do expect to stick on your skin. This would get you through the day. If you're not doing a workout, this would get you through the day, so I cannot complain about that at all. And it'd probably be about 85-90% strong. So for that reason, I'm going to actually give this... I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. It isn't bad. It's not really heavy, really strong, but it's absolutely fine. It's pleasant. I still think if someone was, in close vicinity to you, this would be absolutely great. It would still be recognised, and someone might still mention a compliment even sort of mid-afternoon. I think more so though for yourself, if you're someone who likes this fragrance, likes the smell, if you're at home cozying up, or if you've had this on a piece of clothing that you haven't put in the wash and you put on the next day, you're still going to notice it's still going to be that nice relaxing scent. So that as much for you, this longevity is really good. And yeah, I think that score's fair. So what we're going to do then, we're going to head back now, going to add up all the scores, and then I'm going to put on YouTube the video that I did of this a few months ago, because I have not seen it since then, and I'm really intrigued to know, compare the scores, compare the results, and yeah, see if I've come up with the same judgments overall. We are back. My morning workout is complete. How many steps have I done? 39,002, all while wearing this fragrance here, Ferragamo Uomo. So what was the total score today? It's the 10th of December when I filmed this. It's a long time ago when you actually see this video. But the total score I got was 40. 40 out of 50. That's a pretty decent score, isn't it? 80% it's got overall. And if we look at the categories, because I wanted to look at the categories individually today, first round price I paid for money, I gave a 7 out of 10. Its versatility, I also gave a 7 out of 10. And then it started to pick up a little bit. So projection got 8.5. So I did notice it a little bit on my run, but it was actually in the room here. I really noticed it a lot more than I expected. Pleasantly surprised because I had the window open and it was quite cool in moments this morning. It also got 8.5 on compliment factor. And then at the end there, it got a 9 for longevity, which meant 40 overall. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look and see what I actually gave it a few months ago, because it was a little while ago I did it. It was more in the summer. I wonder if I gave more or less. We'll look at the category. So I'm going to put YouTube up. We're going to have a little look, see what I did. We'll skip through it and yeah, we'll find the results. Okay, I've got to the end of the clip. So I gave 7 out of 10 for this. What did I give on this day? Probably looking at that price, I would have given a bit more. Oh, 7 out of 10. So exactly the same as what I've given today. So let's have a look at versatility. Okay, on to versatility. That's exactly the same, isn't it? So the first 2 rounds I've given exactly the same, and that is unbelievable. I can tell you now, absolutely promise you, hand on heart, I hadn't even looked at these scores before. So it's interesting how that hasn't changed, which is a good thing. It shows my knowledge was good back then as well. So we'll look at projection now. Oh, I've moved. I've gone into the car. Let's see if I can find the result. Okay, this is really interesting. So for projection that day, because I obviously must have taken the car to the gym, I sprayed my car rather than my room to see how much it filled up the car. So this might get a slightly higher score than I think. Here I am. I can definitely smell it, but I have to say, maybe not. The other ones I've done, when I've sprayed it in my room. My hair's not a lot different there, is it, to now? It's a nice smell, but it's not. Right, stop waffling on, Harry. What did I give? 6 out of 10. Wow. Now, I think there's probably a big reason for this. Obviously, I've given 8.5 today. It was a hot day. It's July the 19th. Obviously, summer season. Cars, I'm sure all of you who drive know how hot and steamy your cars can get with the sun on. And where I was, even though it was raining that day, it's still going to be pretty warm. Much warmer than my room was this morning. So, yeah, interesting. I'm quite surprised I gave such a low score there. Maybe I was more harsh in the past. Okay, so compliment factor. I obviously did it on the drive down. This was before I did all my drive along videos, wasn't it? So I've given 8.5 today. Let's get there. Nearly at the gym now. Get there, do my workout, and I'll let you know if I get any more before we do longevity at the end. Oh, 6.5. So again, I've given a lot more today. That's harsh. I think that really is actually a harsh score there, because this fragrance here is built for compliments. That's the whole point of this scent profile, and it's why many brands have replicated it. Whether this was the first one that did it or not, I don't think it probably was. But this is built for compliments. Yes, it's a little bit, as I was trying to say, a little bit boring maybe, and I think probably my criticism of it in this was actually more to do with the fact it was not that strong, didn't really kick off my skin. But you cannot fault the scent profile. The scent profile on this is absolutely bang on. So let's have a look what I gave for longevity. I obviously gave a 9 today. Longevity. I still don't think it's a massive I miss wearing those headphones. In terms of longevity and performance, really. So for longevity, because I couldn't really smell it on my gym top, I can smell it a bit now I've come out of the shower. I'm going to give it another 6.5. That's quite harsh, I know, but I'll give you kind of my overall really harsh. Right, let's go to overall thoughts. 33 out of 50. So 33, let's go back to that picture. I can't find it now, but it was 33 out of 50. That's not very good, is it? So I ended up today giving it 7 points more. And I think the main reason has to be, again, you can see the criticism I've given there. Performance, longevity just weren't really good. It's not a summer fragrance. I've said this obviously on my exercise today. And it's this time of year that we're in December now, coming up to the new year. And it's obviously darker in the evenings, all those things. And I think that's why it's performed a little bit better today, just because it's not been as hot. Yeah, I was obviously a lot harsher back then. Look, I think this is a great fragrance. I just think it's not something that's groundbreaking, and probably more my criticism than anything else is it doesn't do anything different to a lot of fragrances today. I said I had a Zara one called Unexplored Noir, and it was exactly the same sort of scent profile. So that would be my only criticism now. But if I'm being honest, between 33 and 40, I'd probably say if I did this review again, I probably would be somewhere in the middle between the two, about 37.5. It's a good scent. It's mass pleasing. So if you want something pretty easy to pull off, then yeah, I definitely recommend this one. But at the moment, do not pay that sort of price for it. Wait till it goes to around £30. And I think it's definitely worth that 100ml bottle. But yes, thank you very much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed that one. Let me know if you'd like me to do a few more where I go back and review some old fragrances and see if we can get different scores. But 7 points more. I'm obviously in a good mood at the moment. Of course I am. It's Christmas. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.